What if Earth suddenly became half its size? Imagine this. One morning, you wake up, look out your window, and the Earth beneath your feet is only half the size it was yesterday. At first, nothing looks different. The sky is still blue. The ground is still solid. Your phone's still buzzing with unread notifications. But then you take a step, and you feel it. You're lighter. Not feather light or moon-walking light, but suddenly your body feels like it shed half its weight overnight. If you weighed 70 kilograms yesterday, today, you're 35. Congratulations, you didn't hit the gym. Physics did the job for you. This happens because gravity depends on two things: how much mass Earth has and how far you are from its center. Shrink Earth's diameter in half, and the planet's volume, and therefore its mass, drops to about 1/8 of what it used to be. Combine that with the smaller radius, and surface gravity ends up being only about half of today's value. For you, that means higher jumps, softer landings, and a good chance of breaking every basketball record ever made. But before you buy a ticket to the NBA Finals, you might want to consider the bigger picture. Weaker gravity doesn't just change your morning workout. It changes everything about how Earth holds onto its atmosphere. Right now, Earth's gravity is just strong enough to keep oxygen and nitrogen close to the surface. Have that pull, and those molecules start drifting upward, slowly leaking into space. Not in a day, not in a year, but over millions of years, the sky itself would thin and fade. The planet would start to resemble Mars, cold, dry, and very unfriendly to human lungs. Oceans wouldn't be safe either. With less pressure keeping them in place, water would evaporate faster, rising into the shrinking atmosphere, only to vanish into the void. Geography would feel alien too. On today's Earth, the horizon is about 5 kilometers away. On half-Earth, it would curve away after just 2.5. That means skyscrapers in the next city would visibly lean backward, and mountains would look like giant speed bumps poking out of an oversized ball. A road trip would feel like driving across a cosmic basketball. And then there's the spin. Earth now rotates once every 24 hours. But if you suddenly compress it to half its radius while keeping the same angular momentum, the rotation speeds up, like a figure skater pulling in their arms. Days would shrink to around 17 hours. Imagine cramming school, work, meals, and sleep into that schedule. Night owls would rejoice. Morning people would complain that mornings now arrive 7 hours earlier than expected. Life would be turned upside down. Animals built for today's gravity would suddenly discover new talents. Elephants could hop, cats could leap over houses, and fleas would probably launch themselves straight into orbit. Plants wouldn't handle the transition as well. With weaker air pressure and faster evaporation, soil would dry out and tall trees would struggle to pump water upward. Forests of redwoods would collapse, replaced by stunted shrubs clinging to what little moisture remained. Agriculture would collapse too, as crops failed to adapt to the harsher conditions. Humanity would need to build domes and pressure-controlled habitats just to survive on the planet that used to be home. The weather would turn chaotic. A thinner atmosphere combined with faster rotation would send winds whipping around the globe at terrifying speeds. Storms would form and dissolve in hours, tearing across continents before anyone had time to name them. Predicting the weather would be useless. Meteorologists might as well flip a coin on live television. Yet perhaps the strangest change would be psychological. Looking up at the sky, the moon would appear larger, looming closer against the smaller Earth. The stars would twinkle through a thinner blanket of air, sharper and brighter than we've ever seen them. On the ground, the world would feel compressed, intimate, almost claustrophobic. Countries that once sprawled across wide plains would now curve visibly across the small globe, and neighbors would feel uncomfortably close. So in the end, a half-sized Earth wouldn't be the trampoline paradise it sounds like at first. Sure, you'd weigh less, jump higher, maybe even enjoy shorter days. But the price would be losing the very things that make Earth livable: thick air, stable oceans, fertile land, and a climate that doesn't shred you with hurricane winds. Within a few million years, Earth would become just another barren rock, scarred by memories of oceans and forests that once thrived there. If you really want to feel light on your feet, there are better options. You could visit the moon or Mars, or build a space station with artificial gravity set to whatever you like, because shrinking Earth down to half its size might sound like a dream. But in reality, it's the kind you wake up from, gasping for air.